Today's episode is made possible by America's Christian Credit Union, inviting you to bank with purpose and invest in what matters most. So how long did you stay in that space, and what might have piqued your curiosity to actually take another look at Christianity?
That's where it gets interesting. So, an organization which I led, a campus organization I had started, which was a political organization, ultimately was my road back to faith. So I started a chapter of Young Americans for Liberty, which was an offshoot of Ron Paul's Youth for Ron Paul campaign. But anyway, I started this chapter of that organization. And the first year wasn't too successful, but the second year we had some good meetings. It was one of the more successful chapters in the state. And the gentleman who motivated me to restart the organization, and who I just kind of let be president of the organization because I didn't want to haul around all these promotional materials and books anymore that we would do at tabling events. His father was a psychology professor, and he gave him this book, which he shared with me, that was Quantum Physics, Near-Death Experiences, Eternal Consciousness, Religion, and the Human Soul. And if you don't mind, I only want to read a brief description here of this text. And so hopefully this is watchable. But this teaches the subject of quantum physics to the lay reader in math and terminology that is simple to understand, describes how and why reality, this universe, is interdependent with consciousness in order to exist, as defined by the founders of quantum physics over a half a century ago, to describe this mechanism in detail, how we interact with, manipulate, and define this finite universe, to present a working definition for consciousness that is suitable to the formal definitions of quantum physics, as well as the philosophies and religions of man. Those are excerpts from the description that's, I believe, also on the back of the book. I haven't had that book for a while, but whenever I started to open this book up and started to read it, I just knew I was wrong about atheism, and I knew I was wrong about faith, and I knew that consciousness must predate the material world. And I just knew what I was reading was true. That's what drew me back. But if I hadn't started this political organization, I wouldn't have ran into the man who showed me this book. And so it's as if my interests were guided so that I would come back to God.
It seems like once you read that book, that consciousness or conscious mind precedes matter. Was it this aha moment that you thought, okay, I need to move back and take another look at God and Christianity? Did you talk with people about it? What was your path like? Was it sudden? Was it gradual?
I was so eccentric at the time, and I was so excited about this passage. I was nearing the end of my college years. I didn't have a definitive plan for what I was going to do afterwards, but I was a very passionate advocate for this book and what was written in it. I would like show people the passages. Actually, so we were going to a state chapter like meeting, like a state chapter conference. So where all the university chapters were meeting. And on that ride, like I was talking to the other guys and reading the passages from this book because they knew me as an atheist. They knew I was, I was pretty certain in my atheism. And now I'm like, God, I believe in God now. And so the text, it does place an emphasis on Jesus, but it also kind of leaves the door open that, other philosophies and religions, may contain truth. And so I even like read some of like the Quran, and, I looked into like some other religious things at the time. It took me a long time to really start studying the Bible again and to say, Christianity is exclusively the truth, that Jesus Christ is Lord. That that took a very long time, um, but I yeah, the road was windy, and I was still holding on to like a lot of my really bad habits that I formed as an atheist, like drinking way too much. Um, I and I was a little bit all over the place, to be honest, but I was just really excited that this God who I was certain did not exist definitely does, and not only that, but that He knows me. So
Yeah, that's a those two things, that God, or the God of creation, God who made creation, exists, but he's in all of its grandeur and his power, but yet he knows you. And those are two very different realities. How did you come to that place where he's not only grand, but also incredibly intimate and personal to that extent?
through reading the Bible, if you're accepting that multiple religions may have a claim to truth, and then you start studying the New Testament, it's pretty clear that um, Christianity is not leaving you the door open to say that other religions can be true. You know, so if you're saying that Islam is true and Christianity is true, well, Jesus either died on the cross and was resurrected, as Christianity says, or he was only made to appear that he died on a cross, like Islam says. One of those things both can't be true. So I landed on Christianity, um, but because God pulled me there, I don't know what else to say.
No, that's beautiful. Because at the end of the day, your change of heart and mind, if God does exist, is a work of God. God, God helps you see. He draws you to Himself, and so that you understand that He is truth. He is the way. He is the life. So you came to that understanding. It sounds like that book was very powerful in your life, and God used that in a way to really, I guess, illuminate your mind to what is true and what is real.